Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter, the master of Hoppets. Today checking out a beer that I brought back from MBCC 2021. And I got this can of Hazy Double IPA from Jay Baxter, or Jay, and his wife Linda. So they were at MBCC and it was really fun to meet these guys because they've been long followers of the channel. They've followed me for so many years and I'm friends with, I think both of you guys on Facebook. So I already knew who they were. I'm friends with loads of people on Facebook, but they post a lot with food and stuff, and I often like to see those pictures because I'm a food geek myself. Never met them, but we met for the first time, had a chat, and they were kind enough to give me some beers to bring home. This one, which is a local beer to them, they wanted me to try, but also a fairly, well, not pretty old, but a vintage beer from Jay's own cellar, which was a bottle of Highland, I think is the name of it, from Buxton, one of their barrel-aged imperial stouts. They did that series, they did Isla. It was not called Isla. It was called Sound of Isla, maybe? Something like that, which was a peated whiskey barrel-aged imperial stout, which was awesome. Then they did Highland, then they've done the one, something, forest, something. I can't remember. It's a forest, and there's a pot still in a forest on the label. It looks awesome, the label. It was Kentucky Woods, maybe? It was a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. But I never got to try the Highland. And now he brought me a bottle there, which was awesome for his own cellar. So thanks a ton, dude. And also thanks a ton to this one. So we're gonna dive into this. I've never heard of these guys. Again, it's a brewery local to them over in England, and this is from Rivington Brewing Company, and this is their Blood Machines Double IPA. 8% double IPA here, hopped with Citra, Idaho 7, Galaxy, and Asaka Cryo hops, and they use barley and wheat malts and oats. Hops and yeast, of course, and water is all beers. But yeah, okay, so barley malt, wheat, and oats. And that's about all the info. It says here that it's brewed and packaged at Home Farm in Anderton. Okay, that's got a long, Crawley, Lancs, UK. I don't know where that is. But I'm guessing either maybe that's just the location of the brewery or it's contract brewed or something like that. But yeah, this will be fun to try. I mean, the UK's hazy IPA game is usually quite on point. So pours a very nice, really thick looking golden orange color. Like, yeah, it's still quite bright, but it has just like bright yellow, but it has like a hint of like a deeper gold kind of orange hue to it. And a nice white head, often with the double IPAs. It's not too often when they're heavily hop saturated that they have a very nice, substantial, fluffy head like this. It looks real nice. There must be a lot of wheat or oats in this one. But let's check out the aroma on this bad boy here. Oh yeah, it smells quite nice. It's got a pretty decent dankness. It's not like as intense as in some, hazy IPAs, but it's definitely got some nice kind of dank vibes, which is something I love. It has more of a sweet, juicy ester profile and more akin to what I associate with a lot of brewers nowadays doing hazies, like huge yeast profiles that are really overripe and juicy and, just like sweet and overripe. It almost, in some cases, it's just like really sweet esters and whatnot, but in a lot of cases too, it's under attenuation where the yeast doesn't ferment out completely because some of these yeasts are quite expensive. And at least I know some brewers, they try to just underpitch a little bit, and they also try to underpitch a little bit to promote the esters and whatnot. And then sometimes with these yeasts you use in your IPAs, they don't finish fermenting to the max capability that they should if there was pitched the enough of an amount, so you have more of a residual sweetness that's a bit cloying, which is these simple sugars. Often in IPAs, when they get cloying and sweet, it's because simple sugars seem more cloying and sweet than complex sugars. So often why like really crazy finishing gravity stouts that are not, they're sweet, but it doesn't feel too much and cloying. It's because it's complex sugars. So it doesn't feel the same way. And now we went out on a nerdy tandem, which we're not going to do. It doesn't smell like this is going to be under attenuated necessarily. It just smells to the sweeter side. And again, loads of, like, there's a sweet mango. There's a like hint of a honey malt for me too. I'm also getting papaya notes. A little bit of an earthy, resiny vibe too. But yeah, and the soft dankness. But it's like really juicy. It reminds me a lot of like some of the overtone IPAs I've had. They're also like really heavy on juice. And that's slightly what I'm leaning away from nowadays in IPAs. But yeah, it smells nice still. Let's give it a taste. And thanks to Jay and Linda for the beer. Cheers. Really fluffy mouthfeel. Really fluffy. So it's not too sweet, but but it's starting to oxidize. And that's something that can happen with IPAs. I noticed it immediately, and I think that's what kind of threw me for a loop a little bit on the flavor. It's starting to get papery and slightly sherry-like, and kind of that, it depends on how you fill these. It's so hard. Most it depends on the type of canning line you have and whatnot, but most canning lines smaller breweries are filled by like having they're filled without counter pressure. So they're filled with, they're filled in pretty much in open cans that are flush with CO2 and then filled. It's not under pressure. And, there's many different ways of doing it, but sometimes you can risk being a little bit of oxygen in the can. You can also risk it just, if you forget to turn on the CO2 bottle, for example, things like that. It just has a bit of a papery sherry vibe. Big esters, big mango, big tropical kind of sweet papaya flavor, honey malt. And I don't think the oxidation is crazy. There's just a little bit of it, just a touch. And I think it might be because it's just starting to happen right now. So, yeah. Too bad. I mean, we can't win every single time. But otherwise, I bet this was a pretty good beer when you guys had it dead fresh. It has that kind of mouthfeel you want this style. Like, it's hugely fluffy and coating, which is really nice. Really fluffy. And it's, again, there's a little bit of dankness and whatnot. Maybe that starting oxidation is why it's a little bit of an understated muddled hop profile, because it's not like bursting out of the gas right now. Again, what I'm getting most of is esters and sweetness. And that's also often a sign of oxidation. So I don't think I should rate this. If I had to, it'd probably be around the 85, 87-ish territory, just because, you can really taste that oxidation starting to take hold, so it muddles the flavors a bit. And yeah, it's a shame it just happens once in a while. And it happens, it's something you see a lot when you brew beers like this that are so heavily hopped. Once in a while, it will happen for most brewers that you get some cans that have a little bit of oxygen in them, and it can just be just a couple from a batch. It doesn't have to be the entire batch. And when you use the crazy amounts of hops you use in New England IPAs, they're really prone for oxidation because, you'll taste it really quickly because hops oxidize really fast compared to other ingredients in beer. So you start to notice it sooner. But otherwise, it seems like it's been very much towards overtones beers. And I bet if this was not oxidized, it'd be probably around the 90 mark. Also, not higher, I think, just because for me, it's just a touch on the sweet side. I want dry IPAs nowadays. I'm not too into sweet beers anymore, unless it's like stouts or barley wines or something like that. But otherwise, it's a nice beer. Yeah. But hey, Jay and Linda, thanks a ton for the beer anyways. As always, I gotta be honest and talk about what I find in the beer and what I taste. And right now, it's just tasting like it's starting to go south. So I think if you guys have cans of this, crack them right now and see how they are. Maybe you guys have some cans that are still going strong and doing great, that are not with oxygen, or maybe you have more than one can. I definitely think you should try and crack one and see how it is. And it's been in his fridge the entire time, Jay's, so it's, it still happens even though you fridge the beer. You can't get around oxidation. That's just how it is. If there's enough oxygen in there, it's just gonna work its magic and produce these kind of sherry, papery flavors. But yeah, that's how it is. So again, not really gonna rate it, because it's off, even though it tastes nice still somewhat. So, but again, maybe an 85 around that if I had to rate it. So yeah, if you guys had a chance to try Rivington Brewing Company's Blood Machines Double IPA, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a ton to Jay and Linda for the beer. Really appreciate that you guys came up and said hi at the festival. It's great to meet you guys. And also thanks a ton for the other beer, which we will be trying soon. We'll see when we get to it. It's a stout, so it can handle a little bit of age better. So yeah, cheers guys. Thanks a ton for watching. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about beer reviews. And let me know what you had of this beer, what you thought of this beer, if you had it even. And I'm going to say cheers and see you guys in the beer review.